If you haven't heard of this incredible female filmmaker, then I'm very glad you're watching this video. Let's talk film. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. It's Lauren, the film student extraordinaire, talking about one of my favorite filmmakers that's actually alive. The amazing American female filmmaker, Ava DuVernay. She has won many awards, including the Directing Award at the 2012 Sundance Film Festival for her feature Middle of Nowhere, and she was the first Black woman to win the award as well. She was born in California and grew up there, but during the summer she would often travel to her father's childhood home near Selma, Alabama, which would later be inspiration for her groundbreaking feature, Selma. Selma won many awards, got so many accolades, and was a huge box office success. Its budget was $20 million, and it made over $66 million from the box office, which is a pretty big hit, if you ask me. She majored in English and African American studies, not film, while at UCLA. Her first interest was actually in journalism after she did an internship with CBS News, but she eventually moved into PR, and through offering services to the entertainment and film industry, she realized that she had an interest in it, which is pretty cool and kind of nice for me, because although I obviously am studying film in school, I kind of decided I wanted to be a filmmaker relatively later in the journey than a lot of my friends at school did. So it's nice to know that you can start later and still be a very successful person. Then in 2005, DuVernay took $6,000 and made her first short film, Saturday Night Life. This film was based off her mother's experiences, and it went around the festival circuit, so she pretty much was making a name for herself right away. Ava DuVernay moved into documentaries though before going back to her narrative films, and it wasn't until 2011 that a feature narrative film, I Will Follow, was released, followed by The Middle of Nowhere, which I talked about at the beginning, and then Selma. However, I do think that she is most well known, especially among my generation, for her documentary, which is on Netflix, 13th, based off the 13th Amendment, which focuses on race in the American criminal justice system. I watched that my freshman year of college, and I can honestly say it really opened up my eyes and my mind and caused me to do a lot more research, and I am sure it did that to many, many other people. We also talked about that film in my class, which is the reason that I watched it initially, and I'm very grateful that we had to watch it, because otherwise I don't know how long I would have kind of gone ignorant of that information. So if you haven't seen it, you really should. I'm also just gonna list here the rest of the projects she's worked on, because if I were to say everything she's done, it would just honestly take too long. And I'm just going to read this quote here because I want to include it and I don't know where to put it, so putting it here. Michael T. Martin says that DuVernay is among the vanguard of a new generation of Black filmmakers who are the busily undeterred catalyst for what may very well be a Black film renaissance in the making. That sounds really cool. Obviously, I would not be a part of said Black film renaissance, but I would definitely like to learn about it, appreciate it, and help share, promote their voices. So yes, going along with that quote about her being part of the maybe a Black renaissance for filmmakers, Ava DuVernay has worked really hard to foster the Black cinematic image, which I've definitely noticed more of in both, especially the mainstream media, in the past 5 to 7 years, which is pretty great. I mean, obviously there's been Jordan Peele's work and Black Panther. So she didn't technically make this, but she inspired the Duvernay Test, which is like the race equivalent of the Bechdel test. I think that's the way you pronounce that, which asks whether Black people and other minorities have fully realized lives outside of just being side characters and serving as the test puts it, as scenery in white stories, which I think is really interesting and should definitely be looked into, because a lot of times there is what people refer to as tokenism, the Black best friend, and these tropes, which are really problematic because Black people and other minorities deserve their own real full stories. I really wanted to talk about Ava DuVernay today because in my screen directing class we were talking about what it means to be a director, and we listened to and watched Ava DuVernay's speech from the South by Southwest Film Festival. And what she said was just honestly so inspiring. She talked about how you can be successful in the box office and you can have all the awards. And I admit that's what I first found when I researched her, and that's why I put it at the beginning, because when I make these videos I do my research and kind of put just in the order that I find. But she said she really didn't feel personally fulfilled until she was telling a story that meant something more than just her, and that if you're just dreaming for you, your dream is too small. And that's why she talked about how Selma was so fulfilling for her. And to me, that just shows what an incredible person she is, along with an incredible filmmaker. The fact that she's not making stuff just for her own sake and for her reputation, but that she wants to share stories with the world and create dialogue and build movements. And to me, that is the mark of someone that I aspire to be like, because she is worth knowing about, worth talking about, and worth promoting. And that's what I want to do with my filmmaker focus, talk about filmmakers that mean a lot to me and that I want to share with everybody else. I also think, as far as the female filmmakers I've covered, she's obviously the most recent. She's still alive, which is different than I think pretty much everyone else I've talked about so far, but she is very much active, both making works and also on her social media platforms with the Black Lives Matter movement that's really resurged over the past several months. She has been active in that. That says a lot to me, that she's someone who is a creative who's not willing to risk her creative maybe reputation to do what's right. And I know I kind of already talked about this with her quote, but just to me that's a real example of her walking the walk, not just talking about it. And regardless of how big a filmmaker I get, I want to make sure I always remember that, to use my voice and use my platform to the best of my abilities, because that's what she has done and I know she's going to continue to do. So please follow her on Twitter and everything, because I don't mind doing any kind of self-promo for her, because she is incredible, and that's why I made this video. And I know usually they're probably a little more technical, these videos, but she's honestly just so cool. So I really just want to talk about her and talk about the fact that she's obviously been very successful, but that she's done so much more than that, which makes her a really good filmmaker to focus on. So if you learned something, please like this video, comment down below, literally anything, and I will see you next Friday. So subscribe. Bye!